In the open world of ancient Egypt in Assassin's Creed Origins, there are many locations that can be deemed interesting, or maybe even cool in their own right. So I thought I should compile a little video showing off 5 of these locations that I found to be rather cool. So here are 5 cool locations in Assassin's Creed Origins. This list will be in no particular order, so the numbering really doesn't mean anything. I think they're all quite cool. There are several other locations that I found to be rather interesting in the game. I could easily make a part 2 to this, and as well I thought I'd exclude the pyramids from this because they're just too obvious. But without further ado, let's begin. So to start off with, we do have the Pharos of Alexandria, also known as the Lighthouse, which was a tool structure in Alexandria which no longer exists, but back in 49 BC it was there, and in the game it's a huge tower that you can climb. It's got an inside section as well. You go to the top and it's a really high viewpoint. I think it's actually one of the higher viewpoints in the game. The reason why I found it to be cool is because when you're climbing it, it appears to be huge. If this is what it looked like in actual history, no wonder it was considered a wonder of the ancient world. I'd imagine its size in-game is slightly romanticized, a Marazasia joke, but if the Pharos was even remotely similar in size to how it is in-game, then that's some very impressive construction work by the ancient world, and that's impressive even for the standards of the people who built the pyramids. As a location, the Pharos is very impressive. Next on our list is the Hidden Ones Bureau, which appears in Memphis after you complete the main story. So you need to complete the main story in order to access the Hidden Ones Bureau, but when you do, it feels very much so like a throwback to Assassin's Creed 1's bureaus because it's so similar. The entrance is on the roof, you have one main chamber filled with cushions, and you have a guy behind a counter in the second chamber. And what's interesting about this location is it drops loads and loads of hints for things you can do in the open world, so it's not just a throwback visually, it's also functioning as a little hint center, so if you want to find some hints and things, then this is the place to go. Next up, we have perhaps the highest point in the entire game. This is a location, and the only location, in the Black Desert, so it shouldn't be too hard to find, and when you get up here, you will soon realise that you feel as if you're on top of the world. You go to where you can sit and rest, and you have views that stretch for miles. You can see the pyramids, you can see Alexandria in the distance, you can see the vast stretches of desert that fill the world. Basically, you can see the entirety of the open world, the entirety of Egypt, you can see from this location, and it is quite breathtaking. It can be quite tricky to get to, considering your mount won't go up in the Black Desert too far, but it is worth it. Another really interesting location in Assassin's Creed Origins is of course the Great Sphinx. If you've done all of those stone locations and you've got 50 silica, then come here and you'll actually be rather surprised. Or you'll probably already know about that and you know it's rather interesting, so you know why I'm putting this thing here. There are several locations across the map where you can find these things left behind in which you can hear things by the first civ or by people or whatever. I'm not even entirely sure what's going on. This is one of those locations. True, there are loads dotted around the map, but this one's probably the most interesting out of them all. And to top it all off, everything here is underneath the historical staple of ancient Egypt, the Sphinx. And finally, our final cool location is the Seths Tomb to the very south of the map in the Desert Desert, or however you pronounce that. This location is rather unique in its architecture for sure. It looks like it was built by someone who wasn't from ancient Egypt. It looks like it was built by the first civs, what I'm trying to say. I did Google this, I couldn't find anything that points to something like this actually existing. But this location is quite huge, and it also contains one of those hidden messages that I mentioned when talking about the Sphinx. So yes, it is rather cool. Do bear in mind though that it is quite out of the way. It's about 2,000 meters away from anywhere that you can fast travel to. So even if you discovered everywhere, you still have to walk a good 2,000 meters or ride a good 2,000 meters or whatever to get here. And there you have it, everybody. 5 cool locations that you should give a little visit in Assassin's Creed Origins. Of course, if you know of any other interesting locations, do let me know down in the comment section so I could possibly make a part 2 where we check out 5 other cool locations in Assassin's Creed Origins, because I do know of a couple off the top of my head, and I'm sure there's at least 3 more, maybe more, that I can make a second video out of if everybody wants that. But anyway guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you all very soon in another video at some point.